Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell has blocked a standalone bill to send direct checks to the tune of $2,000 to Americans struggling during this pandemic. But Bernie Sanders actually has a tactic to fight back that may work. Now, in order to understand the context, it's important to point out that right now, the Senate is set to vote on two different bills, technically vote on two different bills. One would be in regard to the $2,000 stimulus payment, something that McConnell has already blocked. But the other bill is to override Donald Trump's veto on the defense spending bill, the National Defense Authorization Act, which Trump threatened to veto. He did, in fact, end up vetoing that bill because it did not repeal Section 230, which would essentially end the liability shield for tech companies and social media platforms. And it also did not take out the proposal to rename military bases that have been named after Confederate soldiers. And so Trump vetoed it. The House has basically voted to override Trump's veto. Now it's up to the Senate to do the same. Now, what Bernie Sanders is saying is, no, I'm not going to vote to override that veto on defense spending unless I get what I want and what the American people need. So he writes this on Twitter. The House passed a $2,000 direct payment for working people. Now it's the Senate's turn. If McConnell doesn't agree to an up or down vote to provide the working people of our country a $2,000 direct payment, Congress will not be going home for New Year's Eve. Let's do our job. And then he also wrote, today, Senator Markey and I demanded a vote on $2,000 for working people. It's simple. No vote, no New Year's break for senators. So what he would do is refuse to consent to overriding that veto, which could delay the defense spending bill, which could prevent them from, going home for the New Year's break. And so it's really it's an interesting strategy. I think that it has the potential to work. He is playing hardball. And so we'll see how Mitch McConnell handles this. But I do want to just quickly point out before I go to you, Cenk, that Senator Dick Durbin, the Senate Minority Whip, a Democrat, has disagreed with this strategy. Here's what he had to say about it on a CNN interview.
Do you support that tactic? Is that tactic helpful at this point?
I don't want to use this defense bill for the national security and for the men and women in uniform as part of the strategy. It is going to pass. I can tell you, knowing the Senate rules as I do, it is going to pass. Let's put the pressure on Senator McConnell to call the measure that passed the House for $2,000. It got a bipartisan roll call there. I think it's got enough votes to pass here. We'll never know till we try. So I'd say to Bernie, I'm with you on the goal of $2,000. Let's not do it at the expense of the Department of Defense.
Yeah, they're just so pathetic, as always. So let me break down the different layers of this. So first of all, he's like, but not at the expense of the Department of Defense. Our troops, our men and women in uniform. Okay, Dick Durbin, those are Republican talking points. Very, 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 very little of the defense bill actually goes towards the troops. The troops make $19,000 a year when they first come in. They make almost no money. I just interviewed Ken Klippenstein from The Nation earlier today, where he explained that the troops have to pay for their own COVID tests. The money's not going to them. The money's going to the defense contractors who finance not just the Republican Party, but Dick Durbin and the Democratic Party. So when Bernie says, let's block this vote so that we can get the $2,000 checks, you wouldn't be blocking the defense bill overall, although I think I would love to block it, right? But he's saying that's an opportunity to delay it until we get the $2,000 check. I can't imagine a better place to block a vote, okay? So when you block the defense bill, it doesn't hurt innocent people who are going to get unemployment checks, who are going to get the direct relief checks. It doesn't hurt any of that. It only potentially delays payments to Raytheon and Lockheed Martin, Boeing, etc. So Dick Durbin, acting like a 1,000% Republican there, going, oh, no, the troops. Bernie's hurting the troops, right? Hey, Bernie, I agree with your goal. Let's do it another way. Okay, I'm open to different strategies and doing it a different way. So what's your way, Dick Durbin? Oh, you don't have a way. Oh, let's try to pressure Mitch McConnell to have a clean vote. Really? What's your strategy for pressuring him? This, what Bernie's doing, is an actual strategy to pressure Dick Durbin. I'm sorry, although, yes, you should pressure him as well. Pressure Mitch McConnell into an actual vote. Durbin is saying, I have no plan to pressure him. I have no plan at all. I just want to make sure that Bernie doesn't win because my donors, I mean, the defense contractors, I mean, the troops have to get paid. So it's pathetic. Now, in terms of creating the right kind of pressure, if you noticed, Bernie said there was somebody else joining him on this. And normally Bernie's always alone, right? He does the right thing. All other corporate Democrats are the worst. They never support him because they're actually Republicans. So, but in this case, if you notice, he mentioned Ed Markey. Ed Markey is supporting him. Guys, there's a super important political point in there that I want you guys to understand. Ed Markey supported Green New Deal with AOC. And so when he was running for re-election in the Senate, the corporate Democrats turned on him and they had Kennedy run against him. And even Nancy Pelosi said, you should defeat the sitting Democratic senator in Massachusetts and you should vote for Kennedy. And the reason she said that, she said, oh, it's because I love the Kennedy clan and dynasty. It's a sickening, gross reason to support them. In reality, Kennedy raises more money for corporate Democrats. That's why she wanted it. But Markey won. He was losing. And he won by rallying progressives to his side. Since progressives delivered for Markey, now Markey's solidly in the progressive camp going, yeah, Bernie, what do you need? You need backup on this? Goddamn right, I'll call out Dick Durbin on it. These guys weren't on my side when I needed them. Progressives were. And now our alliance grows. So Bernie is being super smart and strategic here, and it's exactly the right thing. One more thing. In terms of, well, Durbin says it'll pass, it's just a delaying tactic. But remember, even if it turns out to be true, it's a super important delaying tactic because it keeps Loeffler and Perdue in D.C. and not campaigning in Georgia. Every Democrat, especially Durbin, should be in favor of that. But he desperately doesn't want those $2,000 to go to the Americans. And he desperately wants the defense contractors to get all their money exactly when they want it and demand it. So you understand that the last layer of that is that Democratic leadership actually doesn't want you to get the $2,000 checks. If they did, they'd support Bernie on this. No, they know that McConnell's going to block it. And then later, I guarantee you, that same Dick Durbin will go on TV and go, well, it turns out there was nothing that we could do. After he defeats Bernie, trying to do something. So they're liars. They don't actually want you to, they're Republicans. They don't want you to get the check. And the whole media plays along as if Dick Durbin and Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi actually want you to get the $2,000 check. They don't.
Yeah, I mean, look, the easiest way, simplest way to understand this is Dick Durbin knows, everyone knows that there's a unique opportunity here where the Senate Democrats who actually do want direct $2,000 checks to Americans, have leverage. They can use this leverage in order to get what they want, right? And the leverage has everything to do with utilizing delay tactics that keep Loeffler and Perdue in Washington, D.C. when it's like the final stretch of their campaigning. They don't want to be in D.C. They don't want to have to vote on anything. They want to continue campaigning. They want to get reelected in these Georgia Senate runoff races. Why wouldn't you use this leverage? The only reason why you wouldn't use the leverage is because you don't want to use the leverage. You don't care about getting those direct checks to Americans. Because look, the fact of the matter is, whether the delay tactic is utilized or not, the $741 billion for defense spending, it's going to pass. They will eventually override Donald Trump's veto. There's no question about that. And so I have no doubt in my mind that Durbin knows that's eventually going to pass. So what's the big deal? Why is he so concerned about delaying it a little bit, especially when you know that delay could give you leverage in getting Americans the relief that they desperately need? He doesn't want it. And I think you're absolutely right about that, Cenk.